Apologies for the dirty stove. I already made Sunday dinner and I'm just shooting this video quickly because, you know, normally I try to do a meat-free Monday. This recipe is fully vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free and all that, but rather than focus on the recipe itself, I want to focus on the technique, thus giving you my 5 tips for making the perfect fried okra. Now here's the thing, you hear me say fry, and in the title it'll say fry because of the way we speak in the Caribbean, and I'm not saying because in a negative way. We hardly put tense to some words. So you would see curry chicken rather than curried chicken, fry okra instead of fried okra. That's just the way we are, that's just the way the lingo is. But anyhow, first tip 1, you want a nice wide pan. The wider it is, the more surface area, and I wish I had a bigger pan. Unfortunately, I burned that one a while back. Yeah, Uncle Chris has burned pan and thing too. But this is the widest pan I have. So tip 1, a wide pan. Tip 2, since we're here, and I'm gonna go in with some olive oil. All I need is about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You need a pan that's non-stick, so whether it is coated in whatever this is coated in there, or you have a really seasoned cast iron pan or a good stainless steel pan. The reason being is because fried okra takes a lot of oil, and to cut back on some of that oil, to somewhat make this a bit healthier, we're using a non-stick pan. I'm going to turn my heat down to low. Then I'm going to hit that with a lot of onions, thinly sliced. That's a medium onion, thinly sliced. And I want a ton of garlic. So a nice big heaping tablespoon of my crushed garlic. This is garlic that I pureed and made my own crushed garlic with. I'm going to take the heat up to just a tiny bit higher. We want to sweat everything down and flavor here. So tip 3, a ton of garlic and a ton of onions in there. That's going to help build a lovely flavor base. And the goal is not about giving this any sort of color or anything like that. It's just to pull out the flavor of the garlic and the onion. This will cook on a sort of a medium high shortly, and that is the other tip I'm going to share with you guys. So the color and everything will come in at a later time. At this point, I'm going to go in with some fresh ground black pepper. And I like my food spicy. You don't have to do this. I have half of a small habanero pepper, just a few seeds, and I'm handling this with bare fingers. If pepper and stuff like that is not your thing, listen, you don't need to put it in there. And remember to wash your hands with soap and water immediately after handling any such hot pepper. You don't want to touch a piggy, boy, you're gonna run into problems. I've been there. Your kitchen should have the lovely aroma of that garlic and that onion. You know, that's priceless. In my humble opinion, one of the best scents coming out of a kitchen. Here's where now I'm gonna add my okra, or okra. We say okra in the Caribbean, right? And this is why I said if I had a wider pan, it would have been even better. Now, don't come here watching this video and asking, well, Chris, how do I take the slime out of the okra? Listen, okra equals slime. You don't like slime, keep away from the okra. No, don't waste time, man. Oh gosh, everybody wants a tip and a tip and a tip. Mind you, I did share a tip in a previous video, yeah? Now, what I want to do is turn up my heat to medium, medium. And I'm going to coat the okra with the oil. And this is why I said if you're not using a non-stick pan, this thing will just suck up oil like a 8-cylinder sucking gas. I know anything about cars. I know how to drive cars. Anyhow, the third tip. Actually, we're into tip number 4. Tip number 1, wide pan. Tip number 2, non-stick pan. Tip number 3 was the garlic and the onion to give it that flavor. Tip number 4, absolutely no lid. Lid causes steam. Steam is moisture, and that is when you're gonna get that sort of slimy attribute happening. Keep cooking it with the pan uncovered, but make sure you give it a nice little stir, yeah? With the high heat and the natural sugars from the okra, I keep saying both words, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start seeing caramelized edges. Let me see if I can pull one out without burning myself. That there is not burned, that's some caramelized edges, and that is why we're doing this with the pan open on a relatively high heat. And because of that high heat, you want to stir it ever so often. You don't want it to burn. And here's where you're going to personalize it as well. It will not take long, 10-15 minutes, and this will be fully cooked. However, I want those caramelized edges, so I'm going to keep stirring. And pay attention here. So tip number 5 is the sort of edges that you're trying to develop, that sweetness that's going to pull out from the caramelization process from the heat of the pan. If you pay attention, we haven't salted this yet. I like to salt it at the end, because what salt does is pulls out the moisture from whatever you salt, and it will be released into the pan. What I want to do is develop my color and everything first, then I'll salt it near the end. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I'm really trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? It's been about 22 minutes since I added the okra to the pot here. This is exactly where I want it to be. Just slight bit of body to it, yet I have all those caramelized edges that you're seeing there. Were it my mom who was cooking this for us, she would cook it even further, maybe another 10-15 minutes to really tighten up, and you'll almost get dry, like a fried dry. Here's where now I'm going to go in with my sea salt. And obviously you're going to taste it and adjust it after you toss it in there. So Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys in the kitchen with me. My 5 tips for making outstanding fried, you may say fried okra or okra. Couple bonus tips. One, the other thing, if you're not doing this fully vegan, if you wanted to add some bits of prepared salted cod, some saltfish in here, I'm telling you, boy, next level thing. If you do add the salted cod, keep in mind that that will have a bit of a salt content to it already, so when you're salting, you may need to use less salt. The other thing is, the other sort of tip I can give you for adding more flavor, at the start when I went in with the garlic and onion, a teaspoon of curry powder, just your favorite curry powder, will be brilliant. And finally, if you didn't want to do the salted cod, if you didn't want to do the curry powder, some cumin seeds, a bit of cumin seeds in there at the start, toast it off, and that will add another depth of flavor. Irie? What's up, soldiers? Don't forget to click subscribe. If you've already clicked subscribe, hit that bell notification thing. I want to all you missing out on the new videos, man. Come on, click.